So I have something interesting here today, and it's the first tablet from China to use the Microsoft Surface Pro 3 screen. So it's that 3:2 ratio screen, which I actually quite like being a Surface user, and it's got the 2160 by 1440p resolution. It's a 12-inch screen, so should be a very nice screen, and it's got the Atom Cherry Trail X5 Z8300 in it, 4 gigabytes of RAM, 64 gigabyte eMMC. Now this particular one I picked up from gearbest.com. I never actually expected to see it so soon, especially with the Chinese New Year and the Spring Festival, but somehow I got lucky and it managed to actually make it out with DHL, because they have pretty much stopped working, a lot of companies, during this time. It's their vacation holidays, so they've got time off, but bet everyone else, hopefully, to get hold of this. Just down to luck, really. So let's get into the unboxing and check it out. So it's in quite a nice large carton and has been double boxed, obviously. So just get this open. So get the box out of the way. And it's wrapped up in plastic, so that's good to see. No one else has touched it at all. So typical Chuwi packaging, the brown box. So on the side here we have Hi12. Now this is the model that has the grey metal back on it and the black front. There's another model that's white, and there's supposed to be another model that's going to be out with a stylus, proper stylus support. And also, you see on here, Android mentioned, there is meant to be a dual boot Android and Windows 10 model coming later on. Okay, so there's a tiny... That's funny, they got that in there and not stuck to the actual screen. Just a few specs there outlaid. So it has the Atom Cherry Trail X5 Z8300, 4 gigabytes of RAM. It's only single channel RAM, and the Atom X5 Z8300 is quite slow. I mean, it's just the lowest Cherry Trail Atom. Hopefully they're going to bring this model out with hopefully a Core M in it, or the Atom X5 or X7. So there we go. There's the bottom of it. We see there is a docking arrangement here to have it actually docked up like a Surface. Sorry, not like a Surface, but more like a transformer book kind of dock. So we have the two inserts there. There's a 5 pogo pin, and of course it is the grey model. Windows button on the side. There's a speaker here on the right. We have a small little torque screw. Another torque screw there on the top. And along the top, volume up and down, power on button. And on the left side, where all the action is, so we got another torque screw. This our 3.5mm headphone jack, micro HDMI, the mic, USB 2 port, charging micro USB 2 port, and a USB 3 port, micro SD card slot. The other speaker, so our left facing speaker, and another little tiny torque screw there. And on the back you can see Chuwi, and it's a matte metallic finish that doesn't look too bad at all, and a 5 megapixel webcam there on the back. And the front here we have another 2 megapixel camera, front facing camera, and overall it doesn't look too bad. Now the screen, I can already tell, is not fully laminated. Of course, in this price range you're not going to get a fully laminated display, unlike the Surface Pro 3. So just have a look and see what else is in here very quickly. So to be the standard Chuwi 5 volt 2 amps charger, I imagine, if I can get it out of the box. There we go. Actually, yes it is. Slightly different one actually. They changed the design slightly, so it's 5 volts, 2.5 amps. Okay, so they have actually slightly upped the output there, which is good to see. And it does have the 2 pogo pins here to pull out like so. And in the box, we have the micro USB cable. So I'll get all of this out of the way and focus on the tablet. Let's get my scales and see exactly how much it weighs. Being a larger tablet, I imagine it is probably quite heavy. Feels quite heavy. So let's have a look. So it comes in at 839 grams. And I'll have a quick look at the thickness. Doesn't seem to be any thickest point on it. So I'll just take a peek here at the bottom. So that is 0.38 inches. And change that over to millimeters. It's 9.48, so about almost 9.5 millimeters. Which isn't too bad, I think, for the size of the tablet. So I left it to charge for a good couple of hours and it powered up without any trouble. It did the initial setup. Now the Windows 10 image has Portuguese, I think it was Portuguese, Russian, Spanish, English. There were about 3 European or 5 European languages, I think, there for the initial setup, and English, which is good, so you don't need any language packs. And I've just got into it now. Now the screen, you can see, looks reasonably good. You'll be surprised to know that I'm actually running it at 100%, and it's not really that bright. It's definitely no way near as bright as my Surface Pro 3 was when I had it, when I remember of it. So free space, we have 45 gigabytes there. There doesn't seem to be anything in Chinese, and it seems pretty responsive. And have a look at the system and then the device manager. It all seems to be popping up there reasonably quick. Oh, I don't want disk management. Selected the wrong one, I think. I did indeed. So Chuwi, Windows, connect to the internet to activate. Okay, so I need to connect up and go through all that, set up my wireless at least to get Windows activated, but I shouldn't have a problem there. So 4 gigabytes of RAM, 64-bit operating system, 10 touch points. So I'll go back here and have a look at the device manager and select the right one this time. So let's have a look. Disk drives. It's a Hynix HCG8E. So they're using a brand eMMC. That is really good to see. Network adapters, Realtek, single band, 150 megabits per second. And anything else here I can have a look at. Perhaps what's under sensors, Bosch accelerometer. And have a quick look under here. So camera sensor, Unicam, OV camera. So there's the 5 megapixel rear camera, 2 megapixel front facing. And let's see if we can see the touch controller. Sorry, touch controller will not be under here. So touch controller will be under the human interface devices. So it's good. Goodix Touch is the touch controller for the screen, and it seems to be doing its job at the moment without any problems. Now we'll do a quick comparison of the screen against my Surface Pro 4. Not a really fair comparison, but let's just have a quick look at the size difference between both of them and the brightness. So there's the screen. It actually looks really nice. It's a very sharp screen, and it's great having this particular ratio and resolution, I think, on a tablet of this price range. And it does look really nice. Sorry, that's my Skype starting up on my Surface Pro 4 here. Now, just to compare the brightness of the screens, both of them are on 100%. Just double check that. Yes, 100%. And here is the Surface Pro 4. Brightness far superior because, well, we do have a fully laminated display versus non-laminated. And if you look there side by side, it's a bit hard for me to do this because they're both 12-inch devices. But great, as I mentioned, to see this screen make its way now into Chinese tablets is really good. And overall, how thin the tablet is isn't too bad. I noticed a couple of tiny things with the build quality being very picky. There's a couple of gaps around the top. There's a little bit of a gap just along here that I noticed. I don't know if it's going to come out on the camera, just along here. So a bit of a gap there when the panels are being put together. And there's also a couple of bubbles, very small, underneath the screen protector. That's no major, but it's a slight annoyance to have them. There's one there, one there, one there. Just a couple of tiny pieces of dust that are underneath the screen protector in the glass. I want to do a very quick check here to see if it will power up and let me access a 1 terabyte drive through the USB 3 port. Now, we have had trouble on some of these tablets. That sounds good. Blue light's on. And it's asking me what to do. I want to open. Okay, so that's good. It's looking like it's definitely going to work. So, no problems with the USB 3 port. And if I remove that and insert now a USB 3 pen drive, this is a SanDisk Extreme 64. That also works, so it seems the USB 3 port is fine. Now, there is no keyboard for this yet, nor do we actually know what it looks like, what kind of design it was going to be, but judging by the way that this is going to dock, I think it's going to be a transformer style dock. I don't think it's going to be a type cover, but then again, it could be like a type cover. Chuwi might decide to use a type cover like a Surface, as they are kind of copying the design and they do have the screen. So if it was to be a type cover, it might look a little something like this. This is my type cover 4. So if I put that in there, imagine that's what it would look like. Something like that, set up, and possibly have the other level, so it would dock in like so. See if I can get that on the camera. So it'll look a little like that there, possibly. Now, I don't know, I'm only speculating, but I don't think they're going to go with the type cover style. They will go with a transformer style dock. So that would fold up like that, and then you would have the one set unit, perhaps. Now, before I go, I just wanted to test out the loudspeakers. This is 100%. Now, I'm choosing this tune because it won't give me any copyright issues within YouTube. Okay, so the speakers are able to actually output a tiny hint of bass there, which is good. And okay, they're not amazing speakers, but they seem to sound okay, I think, because I have definitely heard far worse than that. Now, if I test out the exact same tune on my Surface Pro 4, that has some of the better speakers I've heard. It's a premium tablet, not really fair again, but just so you can hear the difference. Okay, so there's a massive difference. The Surface Pro 4 speakers there just completely and utterly destroy the Chuwi pretty much.
But saying that, the Chuwi's definitely not the worst.
Okay, so that's the unboxing and first hands-on. I will be back with the tablet, the Hi12, and go through my usual benchmarks. So Geekbench 3, 3D Mark, 3D Mark 11, test out the thermals, test out the battery life, test out the eMMC, and give you my overall thoughts on it, as well as some gaming too. So make sure you check back on the channel for that. Thank you for watching this video. See you soon.